Hey everybody, before we get into this episode, I just wanted to say this one is kind of old. It was recorded 5 or 6 months ago, something like that. And some of the information and like dates and stuff in the video and audio or whatever in the episode might be a little like old sounding. It's because they are. This episode kind of got lost in the mix when I took that 3 months off, and when we came back, I kind of forgot that it was there and just stumbled upon it the other day, and we decided to upload it even though it's kind of old. It's still a good episode, so enjoy.
Where it just jettisoned.
Hey there, this is the Small Stuff Podcast. My name is Kyle Roebuck. This is the intro. Let's start the show. All right. Jeremy Spengeman,
Yes, sir.
you're here. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. We're going to pretend that we weren't just talking for like 10 minutes.
I just walked in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What do you do, Jeremy?
I'm in the restaurant business. I've run Basils for a little over 20 years now. I moved here in 98. We opened in February 99, so I got here when it was a slab of concrete on the ground and a couple bricks going up. So
Wow.
I actually lived right down from you here.
Oh.
My first place I lived in Greenville was Hyde Park, and I was the last one that kind of faces the balcony or the first floor. The patio faced Charles.
Okay. Move this a little, like more directly in front of you. You can manhandle this thing, dude, wherever you need to go. Okay, we're good. Just want to make sure.
Got to be good in the picture.
Yeah, this is new.
Got to manhandle this thing right into my mouth, huh?
Yeah. Well, you can about a fist away.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah. So, Basils. You said you moved here. You said you moved here in 98.
Yes, sir.
Basils 99.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you move? Did you move here for the
I
restaurant?
moved here for Basils, yes.
Okay, where were you at before?
I'm from Virginia, about 10 minutes over the border up 11 in Franklin, Virginia. I went to school at William & Mary. When I graduated, I had a degree in international relations, political economy with a minor in marketing. Back then, yeah, a lot of
Okay.
Basically, what I did with that was I ended up working with the Greek guy. So that was my international relations.
Yeah.
And, the marketing is the restaurant, since I have to handle everything. But I ended up, back then I graduated college in 97. So back then it wasn't like you could go straight into business school or, like you can now. Like you had to be out in the workforce for 3 or 4 years. I was kind of looking for something business-wise. But since my minor was marketing and my degree was international relations, it was kind of like going to be hard to get into, the intro to business at that time. So I went and worked at the beach, drinking beer, making pizza, and chasing women for a summer, and ended up finding the career I really wanted to do. And fortunately got a business partner that, well, at that point I was not business partners with him, but I expressed to him that I wanted to be in the restaurant business, and he had already had this in the works. His brother-in-law was supposed to run Basils here in Greenville, and he backed out. I had left the beach. I was working at Capital One in Richmond as a project manager, and he called me up and he said, "You want to own part of a restaurant? I'll give you 5%. You can buy 5% a year up to 49%. And I've been here ever since.
You still only own 49?
I've bought him out.
Okay.
I bought him out in 2012.
Nice. So you were owner outright Basils?
I have my brother owns a little bit, small portion.
Okay.
But I'm the one that's in there operating. He just
Right.
he's got a good career, so he was helpful on the finances, I guess.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah, Basils is honestly, I hadn't eaten at Basils. I've been here my whole life, right? So I've been here. I grew up in. Do you know where Belvoir is?
Yes.
So I was born at Pitt Memorial Hospital in Greenville, and then grew up in Belvoir. And Basils wasn't exactly a spot that we frequented. I grew up in a single wide trailer, so it just wasn't like our thing was more Burger King and McDonald's.
Both my parents were educators, and there was 4 kids. I'm the oldest of 4, so it was like a treat when we went on a road trip. It was usually we were stopping at the rest stop and eating a picnic lunch at the picnic tables
Right.
on the rest at the rest stop. And if we actually went into Burger King, it was all the kids got a Happy Meal. My parents didn't order anything, and they ate our leftovers. So I get
Wow.
where you're feeling from. I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah. I hadn't been to Basils until first time I went was probably 5 years ago or so. So not to. I'll be 27 this year.
Oh, you're young.
Oh yeah, I am. I look old. I look old as shit. No, I'm young. Young.
Nah,
dude.
you don't. It's the beard, you know.
Yeah, the beard. That's what I mean. Like
The beard makes me look younger if it didn't have the gray in it.
I wish mine would just hurry up and just turn gray. Really. Like I've got like it's like teasing me. It's like I've got like it started off literally like maybe 4 months ago. One gray hair like here.
Nah, don't worry, you'll be here soon.
Yeah, dude. Can you? I don't know. If
In my
you can
head,
see
it's
them.
not bad, but
Yeah, I've had gray hair like in my my head hair, since I was a junior in high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
At least it's still there.
yeah. I don't think I'll lose it.
Yeah, that's the
Knock
way
on wood.
my dad's 70, 73, 74, and he's full head of hair, so I think I'm good.
Yeah. So Basil seems to be pretty heavily involved in the community as far as it's a staple in Greenville. And I was saying I hadn't been to Basils until about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. But I knew of it. Like, I'd seen it. Passing by, going to the movies over there, but I never went in just because, I don't know, it just wasn't in my circle.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, there's still people that are like, oh, how long have you been there? I'm like 20 years. They're like 20 years.
Yeah.
I've never been in there. But I mean, there's always
It's a weird spot for a restaurant.
Huh?
It seems like a weird spot for a
Especially-
restaurant.
Yeah, I think especially when we opened the same time as the movie theater. The movie theater and Basils were being built at the same time.
Really? Was it Carmike when it first opened?
I can't remember. I don't think so.
It was Carmike.
Oh wait, no, it's AMC now, right?
It's AMC now.
Yeah, it was Carmike when it
Yeah, it was
first opened.
Carmike. It was Carmike back when it was the old movie theater.
Right.
Yeah, it was the old movie theater.
And then you had the new movie theater across town.
Which was the Greenville Grand or Greenville Grunt. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah,
But
I think that's a Regal Cinema or something.
yeah,
like
it's
that.
Regal. Yeah.
And then they kind of redid over here, and then
And now this one's way better.
Oh yeah,
If you go to Regal now, so it used to be like you'd go to Regal when I was younger. You'd go to the Regal, and then you would go to Carmike if you had to for some reason.
yeah. You stick to the floor.
Yeah. The tickets were like way cheaper. Everything was way cheaper. It was disgusting, and it smelled like piss.
Yeah, and you couldn't stand still.
Yeah.
because if you did, you would be stuck and
Right.
literally having to remove your shoes.
Yeah.
and prying them off.
And then now, if you go to the AMC a lot, and then you go to the Regal for some reason, like you have to go there, ticket prices are cheaper, and it smells like piss now. And I don't know. I'm like, am I just getting used to it, or do they actually smell bad?
I don't understand why they put carpets in movie theater. Like it would make so much more sense to
Yeah.
put like that garage epoxy flooring and then just
You're
pressure wash from the
yeah.
top down because you're in a movie theater. There's
Right.
kids in there. It's dark. There's
Yeah.
going to be candy and soda all over the floor no
Yeah.
matter what. I mean, it's kind of like back in the old days. You would go into restaurants that would have carpeting in them. Why would you ever put carpet in a restaurant that's catering to kids?
You're pointing stuff out that I completely forgot was a thing. Like the movie theater in Tarboro. It's like a Cinema 3. It showed 3 movies. My grandparents, my mom's parents were in Tarboro, and we were there pretty much every weekend. And we used to go to that movie theater a lot because it was like $3. You know, it was like nothing. And I forgot it was just it was carpet
Yeah.
everywhere.
And it wasn't even just the steps that were carpeted. It's like literally the whole floor into the chairs.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, no, I forgot.
And there's no way you're going to shampoo that stuff out.
And I'm remembering Ragazzi's.
Ragazzi's.
You remember Ragazzi's?
Yeah. It was here when I first moved here.
Yeah, carpet. I remember that being carpet.
All your old school Pizza Huts, I think, were carpet as well.
Yeah. Why?
Well, that was when I say old school. That was before you were born.
No, the Pizza Hut. I mean, you're saying that, but the Pizza Hut in Tarboro, we used to go there a lot. That I remember that having carpet. The one that was in Farmville, actually, I think it's the only one that's still open around here, is in Farmville, and that one also has carpet. If I'm not mistaken, they may have changed it, but yeah, I never noticed that. What are some things that do you have anything that you might think that people don't normally think about when it comes to a restaurant like that?
I just remember they all used to have carpet, and that's when you get we built our building. We're the only Basils is the only restaurant that's ever been in that building. But, you kind of, at that point when we opened, my business partner at the time was the one that had planned it out and, had all the plans. But you kind of look back and there's things we're grandfathered in now where different restrictions have changed. A lot of the fire codes changed. And if I ever went to build another one, there's so many things like floor drains and all these things of just making it easier to clean and whatnot with all the things. But I see all times, it's one of those things about like thinking outside the box. Like I've done a little bit of stuff with one of my friends opening his bar up back downtown. They just got to be able to back open Friday at 5 o'clock. And I was trying to help him get stuff. And it's very interesting in my business, and I haven't done strictly bar business, but I had Dr. Unk's downtown, on Jarvis. I had that for a while, which was a restaurant bar, but it operated more as a bar, kind of like Tiebreakers and AJ's do. But it's interesting to go into other people's places because you see things that they did right, but it's also thinking outside the box. I've been walking in the same building for 20-plus years, and I can go in somebody else's business and be like, this is what I would change or this is what I would do because I'm outside the box in ideas that when you walk into the same place every day, it's hard to see new ideas and new things to do.
Right.
When you're designing this room, you're just starting to do it, but 3 years later, you're kind of stagnant. You're like, oh, it's meeting its needs, but somebody else that is in your line of work could be like, oh, it'd be so much better if you did this. You're like, oh, wow, I can't believe I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And, and so it's been interesting in working with him of like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do like on the way over here, he was calling me and we were talking about whether he was going to switch to all ice or replace some coolers that have gone bad in the year they were closed. And it's hard to point out. It's like in life. It's hard to point out your own flaws because you're used to them every day. Yeah. But if you find a good friend that you don't ever want anybody just randomly pointing out your flaws because then we all take it like we're just born to kind of take that as criticism.
Right.
Where criticism is supposed to be constructive. Where if you have a friend or somebody you know real well, they can tell you something and you actually take it to heart because they look at you and say, I'm not telling you this to offend you, but have you ever thought about approaching it this way instead of that way? And that's just part of life. And I think it's so much easier for me. I see things in other people's business, but I was like, oh, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it this way? Because that's my mindset of how I would do things from seeing it. But it's hard to see it within yourself or within your own business.
Yeah, I run into that a lot. I have a habit of and it doesn't seem to bother anyone for the most part. A lot of my friends seem to, from what they tell me at least, appreciate it. But I do that kind of thing a lot. Crystal's the only one that's maybe it is annoying. She's the only one that's telling me. But like she'll be talking about doing something like she's trying to do she wants to start up like a makeup like business right now. And we were trying to come up with a name, and she was coming up with, this stuff. Like pretty much everybody has this sort of makeup business name, which is blah, blah by, let's say I had a makeup business name, Beauty by Kyle, Makeup by Kyle, Lipstick by Kyle, Made Up by Kyle.
Beard wax by Kyle.
Yeah. Like all those like things. Like it's a blah, blah, blah by Kyle. And I'm like, but like maybe something, think bigger. You know what I mean? Like because that's how I do all this stuff.
Nowadays you call it organic makeup.
Right.
And you just mark up the price 4 times over what you wanted.
We should
People
do that.
Buy it.
Yeah, we should just do that.
Just sell it for more than it's worth and have the word organic in there and you'll make your money.
Yeah. I'm thinking like...
Don't tell anybody you're testing on bunnies though.
Down the road, so like I'm with the photography and stuff like that. Right now it's Kyle Roebuck Photography, but I don't want it to be that forever. I've got like a plan to change it to, I think I could just use my last name and it'd be like Roebuck Media or something like that. But then I can like hire people. Like, okay, you're hiring this company to do this job, but I don't have to be there.
Right.
Like I have a cameraman and a crew and whatever I trust you go do that. You know what I mean? And same thing with her. It's like, think like 10 years down the road. You don't want to be changing his name like 15 times.
Yeah. So I got people that call me Basil.
Really?
Yeah. Not
like not seriously?
Not customers that come into the restaurant, but they're like, "Oh, you're Mr. Basils." Or, you're Basil. And I'm like, "No, I'm not. My name's not Basil."
Where'd the name come from? Like is it just somebody was like, "Let's name it after that herb."
That was all my business partner's thing, his restaurant had burnt down a couple of years ago. He's rebuilt, but his original restaurant in Corolla was the Tomato Patch. So I think it was playing off, all right, that's the Tomato Patch, and let's go with the vegetable.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's work or herb, and it's worked for us.
Yeah.
You know, the logo's changed over the
catchy.
years. Yeah, it's simple.
It sticks. Yeah.
Now everybody wants to call himself a number.
Yeah.
Chef's 505, 519. Look, I mean, like, just think about all the places that are numbers. And it's all their address.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
519 is 519 Cotanch.
Is it really?
Yeah. Chef's 105 was 105 Red Banks.
Is that?
Chef's 505. It's not there anymore. It's where what's the name? It's down from Nino's. I don't remember what it's called now. I haven't been there to eat in quite some time.
No idea.
They do a good breakfast brunch, I think, on Sundays.
Not First Watch.
No,
Egg Yolk?
No.
No, because that's a newer building.
It's an expensive place. Well,
relatively
expensive. Yeah. That's kind of like me.
I wouldn't know then. No idea. Nope.
Cafe Duo. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah? I've never heard of it. I have no idea. Come on the show. Tell me about it. And it's most restaurants don't really stick around as long as you have. Am I right?
No, there's a few, but yeah, it's hard to think of. I think CPW's has been open a couple of years longer than me.
Yeah.
I just saw on Facebook that Chico's is celebrating 38 years, but I think
that is impressive.
I think they've changed owners, but Mike Horton's down there, so he's a real nice guy.
Okay.
But no, I've seen a lot come and go.
Yeah. And you guys, like I said, you're in a weird spot. Like, it just seems, obviously it works, but like, it's a weird spot for a restaurant.
And when we opened, where the Harris Teeter is now, there was a family-owned mom and pop grocery store in there. I believe Food Line was there, but none of that other stuff was there. Like the Blockbuster that's now
you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Title Boxing was a Blockbuster.
Right,
that wasn't even there when we opened.
Wow.
I think the McDonald's was there on the corner, but none of those other spots were out there. Fire Tower.
Was it still like farmland-ish?
Not that bad, but kind of.
Yeah.
The first restaurant that opened near us was now Wasabi 88, but it was Fuddruckers. I think
it was Fuddruckers. Yeah.
I think originally it was Fuddruckers, and it did a couple different things between that and becoming Wasabi.
That was later, though, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That was
much later.
That was probably 5 years after we opened.
Yeah.
But people tell me, like, not quite long before we got, we were down there, it was like Fire Tower was a dirt road.
Yeah. Yeah, like all of that. I mean, most of Greenville, I mean, I guess if you think back far enough, most of everything, but most of Greenville, not too long ago, like in the 50s, like in the 60s, I'd venture to say even in the 70s, most of Greenville was farmland. Like, you had like the downtown area, that was Greenville. Like, that was all you had, and then if you branched out, like if you went towards Winterville looks newer because it is. Like, Winterville's like not old, or it's like the Greenville-ish parts. You know what I mean?
It's becoming a suburb of
the suburbs of Winterville, Greenville area on the outskirts there. Like, all of that's like really new. Yeah, that all used to be just like fields, and that was it. Owned by old dudes who'd been there for generations.
Got that family land money. It's always nice.
Yeah. We our family had a lot of land out in Stokes. Like at Stokes, Pactolus area.
Right.
We didn't end up with any of it, but extended family did.
There you go.
So that's fun.
Somebody got it.
Somebody's got it. I think they sold it all to Weyerhaeuser.
Oh, really?
The paper company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that was a paper company. All I heard, like growing up, all I ever heard was like Weyerhaeuser is buying this or Weyerhaeuser's back there logging or whatever. I never knew. They were just like bad guys in my like little tiny kid brain. And then one day I saw like Weyerhaeuser on a paper thing, and I was like it clicked.
Oh,
as an adult, I just clicked, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, my hometown, Union Camp, was a private paper company, and that's what paid my way through college. I got an academic scholarship, but then I also worked there in the summers after my freshman and sophomore years. I worked there in the summers. That was back, minimum wage was $4.25, and they were paying me $9 an hour. The first summer I went in, I lost about 35 pounds.
Nice.
Pushing paper and sweating my butt off. But, and then Union Camp got bought out by International Paper, which then got bought out by Weyerhaeuser. But they kind of shut that paper mill down, and they had bought it more to increase production in one of their other ones. So it kind of killed my hometown, which has come back now. They make a lot of diaper fluff, and they've sold out different parts of the paper mill to do different things now.
Wow. That got a little depressing for a second.
I mean, it paid my way through college. I had some scholarships. I unlike a lot of kids today, where everybody's taking out student loans, I came out of undergrad, and my parents paid. They paid some. They gave me some money every month, a couple $100, but I was able to, between scholarships and working in the summer, I was able to pay for my books. But I mean, that's also back when at William Mary, I think my whole tuition, room, and board was like maybe $9,000 a year.
Bro.
And we're in a different era now.
Yeah. Yeah. I only had to take out loans for 2 years of college, 2.5. No. I did a year of that master's degree. I did half a master's degree and then was like, nah.
So you said you're what, 27, 28 now?
Yeah, I'll be 27 this year.
At 27. So have you paid off all those student loans?
No.
See, and I think that's,
and I'd likely, like, it's going to be forever.
Oh yeah,
because I keep going. No, you know what? We're going to do that income driven payment thing because I'm not about to sit here and pay.
It's like a mortgage.
$400 a month.
It's a mortgage now.
No,
people are getting a 30-year payment plan on their college education, and
I'm not using it.
And well, I mean, and that's. We got to the point where, as a society, we were pushing everybody to get a liberal arts education,
right?
Which is great for some people, but then you also have people that end up getting stuck in the educational system or stuck doing higher education because they can't find a job. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they go on to do their masters, assume more debt, and that's the way they.
That's kind of what I did.
I mean, that's the way they keep from having to pay. Defer the payments and then you also have so many people that, like plumbers and electricians. I have a very good plumber. I have a very good electrician. General contractors, things like that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to college for that.
Nope.
You can get paid to get your education. You can go work under a plumber. You can go work under an electrician. Get paid $15 an hour. Study, get your certificate in electrician, mm-hmm. and you can make $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to get a little bit dirty. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to crawl under a house. But at the end of the day, that's my mentality, from being at work. Like, I'm in the back cooking.
Yeah.
I used to be up front bartending, some of the stuff like that, but I know what it's like. I came in today, I got my cook shorts on, and I got like, I wear my flip-flops, and then I put on my socks and shoes when I get to work, mm-hmm. and then I leave my flip-flops on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. When I was there, I had a thought. I don't remember what it was, but it'll come to me in a second. In the meantime, when I was there, like doing the photos and stuff, I wasn't sure you were working like a guy who had just taken over the restaurant. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you were back there working as if you hadn't owned the place for 20 years. So you telling me that partially or whatever, you know what I mean? If you telling me that you've been there from the start, I'm more impressed by the fact that you're still back there.
I mean, that's what I prefer to do. And in some parts, I kind of look at it and I'm like, oh, I messed up. I never realized how to. I micromanage, I guess, to some points, mm-hmm. which is good. But then it's also, I mean, there's bad parts to that as well. I mean, there's good and bad parts to how everybody does, what they're. But my guys in the kitchen know and respect when I ask them to do something because they know that I'll do the same thing I'm asking them to do. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather be back there cooking than anywhere else. I had to answer phones on Valentine's Day and help see people, and that's not what I want to do. I don't.
I'm more of a behind the scenes person too.
Well, and it works out better for me now because I can wear a mask. But apparently, I've been told I have a very expressive face. When I don't like somebody, they know it. So the mask helps. But even my eyes tell the story. So I'm better off in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think the whole mask thing. People have at least I know I have. I've gotten better at reading just your eyes. Like I think that says something about like our ability to adapt to just anything. I can't see your mouth now, but like if you were to smile, like I can tell if you're smiling, or if you were like angry, your eyes do a thing.
Right.
And we've been doing this for so long at this point. It's a year now, and I think I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I don't need to see your whole face,
right,
to know like what you're thinking, or like if you like me.
Well, that's what it's kind of creepy to me because like if I come out of the kitchen, like I see a little kid, I love seeing little kids in a restaurant. I'll wave at them, mm-hmm. Hoping they wave back. But you got your mask on, and you're kind of like, hope they don't think I'm a weird.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it to be nice.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't have a van, and I don't have a bag of candy. I'm good.
But yeah, so you guys have a pretty wide ranging menu. I mean, it's Italian,
Right.
Where do you come up with things that go on the menu? Are you a cook like at heart, or you follow the recipe when you're back there cooking?
No, my business partner was off the boat Greek, so his dad developed this crust that we call a Greek style crust. I still to this day do not know if that's something that his dad just came up with, and that's what they called it, or. But there was a lot of.
It's unique, I'll tell you that. Your pizza I like.
Oh, thank you.
It's very It's not like Luna. It's not like but I'm trying to think. Like Luna's got like a very like flat, crispy, light kind of crust. Yours is like a cross between like something that's kind of thick and airy and crispy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean we started in a pan, but it's by no means is it a pan pizza. Like most people don't even know that it was in a pan.
It's got that wall on it.
Yeah,
like it's got like a little mini pan pizza.
It's got what my old business partner Lambert used to call the bones.
Okay.
The bones were the crust. I never understood it either, but apparently like people like the bones.
Yeah. I like it. It's different. But yeah, how do you come up with like the different things that go on the menu and whatnot?
A lot, you go somewhere and you recreate it. And that's
you're finding inspiration elsewhere.
Yeah, then some of the stuff came from the Tomato Patch, the original restaurant. Like for example, the bow tie pasta. It's been on the menu for ever since we opened. The Tomato Patch pizza, the crazy Italian pizza. There's stuff that's been on the menu, and then there's stuff like one of the favorites one of the favorites that people really seem to like right now is the Founder's Pie, and I saw it in a pizza magazine.
Yeah.
I didn't even change the name. I was just, and that's a lot of times you'll find inspiration, but you want to figure out how can I make this with the ingredients that I have,
right?
Or like our sausage dip. People love our sausage dips, and now we also now stuff our jalapenos with sausage dip because we're more of a scratch-made kitchen than people realize. Like originally we were buying a lot of frozen appetizers, just frying them. Like you get stuffed jalapeno somewhere, that breaded stuffed jalapeno. They bought it from whatever food purveyor they're using, and they put it in the fryer.
Really?
Oh yeah. So when you go get stuffed jalapeno somewhere, I would say 9 times out of 10 they bought them like that. All they did was fry them. Our jalapenos, we get fresh jalapenos, cut them in half. Hopefully we take all of the seeds out, but when you hit that hot one, that's the one that all the seeds didn't get out of. And
I'm cool with that.
Then we put our own sausage dip in there, so that like we like to do. The bulk of everything we make is made to order, or we're making from scratch in the kitchen. But like our spinach dip, that was my dad's secretary's recipe from 20 years ago.
Right.
She would always give us for Christmas, and then it caught. And come to find out, it was the recipe off the back of Knorr vegetable soup mix. Now we don't make it the way it is on that description, just because that called for green onions. We didn't keep green onions in house at that time, so we used red onions in it. But
yeah, you
just kind of some stuff is we came up with, and we just came up with it. But it's almost everything now has been created. So you find something, you take it as an inspiration, you figure out how you want to make it your own.
Right. Yeah. I saw. I watched a little bit of the live video with D-Boy.
Oh yeah,
at the restaurant.
that guy's a trip.
He is something.
He's got some charisma.
Yeah, he definitely does. I told him he was on here. I think he might have been the last person before you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. A couple weeks ago. But yeah, I told him he's definitely his type of entertainment isn't necessarily my cup of tea.
I can't see you doing that. No.
but I see something there. And I told him that. I was like, it's not my alley, but like I can tell you have like whenever I would see a video that Crystal was watching or something of him a couple years ago or a year ago or whatever, whenever he started really doing that, I was thinking it was some person out in LA or something like who made a video and went viral, kind of thing. Like it seemed like that. And then I found out, he's just a dude here. And that only has like 5,000 views or whatever. Only, it's a lot, but you know what I mean? Like I was expecting to look at it and see like 23 million or something like that. And
that's everything starts somewhere.
Right. But I'm like, I told him, I was like, dude, like you got something.
Well, I guess he told me he was working at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
His first video, he did it at a Burger King drive-thru.
Yeah.
And then he got canned from Chick-fil-A because he was wearing his Chick-fil-A uniform.
And because he said that it was Burger King or Wendy's or
I
something.
think it might have been Wendy's.
Wendy's, I think it was Wendy's. But he had like a biscuit from Wendy's and was talking about how good it was. And Chick-fil-A fired him. Yeah. That's crazy, right? That's what's wild.
That shouldn't fit Chick-fil-A's principles, I don't think.
No, you wouldn't think so. But, whatever. Did you hear about Kickback Jacks? Do you know who owns Kickback Jacks?
I don't know who owns Kickback Jacks, but I did not watch the whole video of those chicken tenders he got at Kickback Jacks. But I'm definitely was like, I could imagine if he showed up and you didn't know who he was, that it could be irritating.
Yeah. I told him that too.
Without a doubt.
He was telling the story. I was like, well, maybe I could see how like the manager might have been a little irritated when he walked up and you were on Facebook Live. But at the same time,
it doesn't
justify.
Oh, I mean, if you saw the chicken tenders, you're kind of like,
yeah.
They looked like they had frostbite. They were frostbitten.
Exactly. That's what it was.
Or it was just some weird piece of chicken.
Right. They look frostbitten to me.
But I mean, and whether, especially since somebody was doing Facebook Live, you don't take stuff off the table and go back and fry it some more.
Yeah.
You don't take nothing that comes up, anything that comes off of one of our tables where there's something wrong with it is getting thrown away and it's getting remade. Just because you don't know what happened to those chicken tenders at the table. You can't go throw them back in the fryer. Right. Now, more than likely, there's not going to be a problem since the fryer is 400 degrees, but it's not.
That was what I was thinking.
It's not it's not a risk. Yeah. It's not a risk you can take.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not with everything we have going on COVID, and you just like.
And that's one of the things.
You never know when people are messing with what they're doing. Yeah. I mean,
that's one of the things he pointed out. Was that you shouldn't be taking it back to the kitchen. And in my head, I was like, I feel like it'd probably be okay, but I get it. The thing is, it comes down to if I were managing a restaurant. Owning a business, customer service is kind of a big deal.
Right.
My mom is the service manager of a dealership here in town, has been my entire life, and I've seen her just eat the cost of some really expensive stuff in the name of customer service. I'm like, oh my God, no, what? Why did you do that? Like, you're going to get fired. What are you doing? And then turns out, like, no, that's just what we do.
Right.
And like, it was chicken tenders, dog. Like, just take them back, throw them away, give them some new ones.
Yeah. It couldn't cost them more than $1.
No way. There's no way. And I told, I was like, if I ran a restaurant, like if somebody was like, yeah, there's something up with these chicken tenders, dude, they could look perfect. But all they have to do is be like, I'm not feeling them. And I'd be like, okay, take them back. Bring him some new ones. Like, it's not going to. And if he says he's not feeling those, then suggest, I don't know, order something else, because that's just our chicken tenders, dude. I'm going to tell you. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
But like that, he could have avoided that entire situation.
Right.
Anyway.
And that's one of those things, there's always a balance.
Yeah.
There's a balance, and everybody's like, the customer's always right, and this probably is not going to be popular, but 6 times out of 10, the customer's right.
Yeah.
3.5 times out of 10, you let the ones that are wrong think they're right. That brings you 9.5, and
yeah,
that's why I'm in the back. So that half out of 10, I'm not the one that tells them to
fuck off.
Kick the rocks.
Yeah. This isn't a family show.
That's why. But that's why I got managers up front, so I don't do that.
Yeah,
they're paid to treat. They're paid to, when I tell them what they should do, they know not to do what I told them to do.
Tell them they can stick the pasta up their ass. How about that?
We got a lot of creative places they can stick it.
Yeah, yeah. That's something that whole customer. I used to think whenever my mom would say something like that, the customer is always right or whatever. Because I worked at the Seahorse for a little bit.
Okay.
I worked at a few places where like I had to interact, with customers before I was the social butterfly that I am now. And my mom would say stuff like that. I'm like, no, they're wrong. They're stupid. What are you talking about? This is incorrect. They should not. And then like as I grew up, and I was like, oh yeah, they have money. and I'm asking for it. So like they are right. You're correct, you know? So, but like you're saying, there is a balance. There's definitely like, you can't just lay down and be a rug, but for so long,
Right.
you know, you can, but like, don't do it for too long.
Well, you know, and at some point, you know, you start getting taken advantage of. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's a give and take.
Yeah.
Lots of times we'll eat it when we weren't wrong, but you can't. I mean, at the end of the day, you're there to make money.
Right.
You know, people right now with COVID, and not use COVID as an excuse, but like we're a year into it, but we're doing so much takeout business that people will be like, oh, they'll tell us that, you know, it took 40 minutes to get our pizza. And I'm like, well, that's an acceptable time for us. We pull the in-house tickets ahead, but on the weekends, we tell people as soon as they call, like before they even place their order, it's going to be an hour before your pizza's ready. We let you know up front. But I mean, there's only so much production we can do out of the kitchen, and also all the extra steps it takes with stuff being to go. And it's not only the process now of cooking the food, but having all the food sitting there, because we're doing all our carry out is still curbside. So we're probably one of a handful of restaurants in Greenville still actually following all the mandates.
Right.
Which, you know, I don't judge the people that aren't. No, and by no means. I mean, it's one of those things that it's almost like now we have a following, and I don't know how big or, you know, typically the extremes are small, but their voices are loud.
Right.
You know, the majority of people are in the middle. They're trying to figure out the best way to navigate this, and you know, you have people yelling that think COVID's going to kill everybody and they should never leave their house.
Right.
You know, we've been there for people. We have regular customers that used to come in and sit at the bar every Friday night that have not been in for over a year, and they probably won't be in. And they are at a point in their lives, or because of health issues or whatever, they're compromised. So they pay over the phone. They open the trunk of their car, and we put the food in their trunk, and somebody will talk to them from 6 feet away from the window, even with a mask on.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, I understand everybody's concerns. I understand people not having concerns.
Right.
We chose to do – it started with the governor mandate, and by no means am I saying that I think everything he did was right. There's, I mean, the bar thing. I mean, there's things that I thought were done wrong, but
I want to ask your opinion about one thing in particular in a second.
Okay. I mean, but you know, at the end of the day, we decided to follow him, and we have a following people. We have maybe lost 5 tables over actually following the mandate, which to me is crazy. Like how somebody can come up and be like, "Oh, you're following the rules. You're making people wear masks for the 5 seconds it gets to the table. Well, we're not coming in. See you later." I mean, what do you want? I mean, like, you know, it's to me. Like I said, I don't judge. I have friends that are not following the mandates that I'm following. I don't judge them for it. It's not my place. And some of them I still go in their places. Some of them there's more people than I feel comfortable with. I don't go in. And it all depends on maybe how I feel that day. And I can't blame anybody for what they've done or how they've done it, because nobody knows the truth. Like, and I don't know that the truth was ever available out there. I mean, there's probably more of it now than there was then, but what was the right thing to do? There's still people still don't know. Yeah,
I think a lot of what happened in the very beginning of all this was likely people just thank you. I think all the mandates and whatnot were probably a precaution, you know, and I think we got more information. We realized we can lighten up a little bit, or maybe we should crack down a little harder. I honestly don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of reading in it. I just follow the rules. I don't care. Like, you know, I try to, you know, I try to be as careful as I can be. For instance, with this podcast, if I'm feeling anything and I had somebody scheduled to come on, we don't do it.
Right.
Like, even if I'm like, you know, just a little sniffle, I'm like, nope, we're good. We're not going to do it. You know, if I'm around somebody who I know a couple weeks ago was exposed or whatever, then I'm just going to, you know, we're going to stay away from grandma for a little bit.
Right.
You know, but, I mean, I throughout this whole thing, I was worried about me for about 2 weeks, because it was like, is this shit about to like be like a zombie apocalypse? Like, what's about to happen? But then I realized
everybody's going after toilet paper, and
I was worried about that,
and antibacterial soap, and some people, I guess, were worried about bullets.
Yeah, but I was worried about me for a little bit, and then news started coming out of like, okay, so most likely you're gonna be okay. There are people, if you're already like compromised as far as your immune system goes, or if you've got underlying health conditions or blah 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 blah. But then there are the outlying cases where somebody who's completely healthy just gets wrecked by this thing. I wasn't super concerned, for me. I stayed away from my grandma, for a long time. I got mad if my mom wanted to bring her over here. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this was 3 or 4 months in,
Right.
But eventually it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I think we're okay. We're still careful. I wash my hands all the time. We follow the rules best we can and still live our life.
Well, and it's like everything else. Everybody wants to take what has happened and make it prove their point. And that's not necessarily the way it works. Like, yes, flu cases were down this year. Mm-hmm. Do I think that some flu cases got reported as COVID? Most likely, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think that there were less flu cases as well because people are wearing masks, they're washing their hands? I mean, it's for the business I'm in, I'm used to washing my hands. I keep O'Keeffe's hand lotion in my car because my hands are always dry. My staff washes their hands because I have a whole spiel I give them to teach, especially the guys, of what they don't want to touch on the door from the people that they've seen. I was like, you've seen people go into the bathroom, pee, they go out the door without washing their hands. Mm-hmm. What was the last thing their hand touched before the door?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. This is your podcast. So it's
they're dick.
Yeah, there you go. Fine. So, and then I look at my cooks. I look at my cooks. I'm like, is that what you want? Is that the last thing you want to have touched your hand? Mm-hmm. So that's how I teach them how to wash their hands correctly and use the paper towel to open the door.
Yeah. If I'm leaving, if there's not like the paper towel thing like available, because a lot of them don't have that, I'll grab like in a weird place that's like uncomfortable to grab the door handle, because I know not a lot of people have grabbed there.
You're pulling your shirt up.
Either that or like I legitimately, like, since if you've got the door handle that's like, if it's like, we have a camera now so I can actually show stuff. But the door handle's like this, and it's got the curve up there, the curve down here. I'll grab it like here.
Right.
Because nobody's grabbing it down there.
Nobody's grabbing it at the little bottom part.
Everybody's grabbing it here. And they're pulling like that. You know what I mean?
Well, then that's like, you go into restaurants and you'll see a bunch of paper towels on the floor. Mm-hmm. And it's typically where there's not a trash can by the door, because people that know how to wash their hands know how to use the paper towel to open the door. There wasn't anywhere for them to put the paper towel,
right? So
they just throw it on the floor.
Yeah.
So all right, there was a question you wanted to ask me a few minutes ago.
Yeah. How do you feel about the to-go drinks as a restaurant owner?
What do you mean about
to go alcoholic beverages?
Oh, we never did it.
No.
Wow. And I think it's extended, from what I believe, from what I read out of the last mandate, it's got extended to the end of March.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been around a month and a half. But
right. I don't know why they're, honestly, personal opinion here, I don't know why they're stopping it. A lot of states just do that.
Oh no. I mean, well, and you look at North Carolina, and it was probably before you were able to drink, but it used to be completely legal for everybody in the car to be drinking but the driver.
That's crazy.
I mean, you could be anywhere in the car. You could be drinking as long as you weren't driving.
Wow.
And it's somewhere in the past 20 years, because it's since I've been in North Carolina. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but 15 years ago. Yeah. But I mean, you think about things that, I want to say that happened after the smoking law, because the smoking law, remember, we closed Dr. Unk's in 2009, and January 1st, 2010 is when the smoking law came into effect, where you couldn't smoke in bars anymore.
That's crazy.
And then you had a group of bars, that fought it. But I mean, prior to that, you could walk through the Greenville Mall smoking a cigarette. Now, some of the stores wouldn't let you in, like the clothing stores, which makes sense. But I mean, and we're only 10 years removed from that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy to think back. Like Regazzi's, I'll mention them again. I remember going in there with my parents as a kid. Like my particular generation, and I guess like mine and the folks that are a little older also. We came through a really weird time where it's like we weren't like concrete in one like way of life. It was like a lot of things changed like while we were just growing up.
I mean, you were born in what, 93?
94.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 93.
My mom graduated high school in 90. Sorry. Make you feel old there. No, I can remember walking in the Regazzi's and my parents being asked, smoking or not. And you can literally like look this way and there's people just smoking away while they're eating dinner. That's so weird to me.
Oh yeah, you would never see it. But I mean, even at Basils, when you walk into Basils, the bar section on the left, that was our smoking section.
Wow.
And we're fortunate because, I mean, while we've painted there, it was never, I guess the roofs were tall, but like you go in, I mean, and you don't have a lot of places that have stayed the same business, but like we were very fortunate, like you didn't see the nicotine stains on the wall, because if you go, like, I mean, you've probably been in somebody that smokes in their apartments or house, you know, you can see it
It's
going
like
up the
it's
wall.
yellow.
Or like the smell is still lingering from, I mean, and that's, you know, but it's also you know, you had some servers that didn't want to work the smoking section back then, but honestly, that was where the most money was to be made. Because back in the day, the people that smoked, they were sitting in the bar, they were drinking, they were the ones having a good time.
Yeah.
And so therefore, they were going to spend more money. They're going to sit there longer, and they're going to tip big.
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of like, you know, I have some gay friends, and it's like that's one of the other stereotypes that still kind of exists, because while you have some now that are adopting children, a lot of them don't have children. They don't have a desire to have children.
Right.
They therefore have more expendable income because they have no children. As soon as you, I mean, and are you married now, or are y'all just engaged?
We're married. Yeah.
You have less money now than you did before you got married, right?
We have less money now. Yeah, I have less money now than
you have less money that you can do what you want with.
Yes.
It might be the same amount, it might be less, it might be more, but either way, you have less money. So
I'm just spending more money on food. That's basically what it is. Spending more money on food and like going places.
Maybe this is a time you should talk about restaurants getting promo space on your podcast for gift cards.
Yeah. What do you mean? I definitely want to.
Here's a big shout out to Basils, and I'll slide you a $50 gift card. Not today, but maybe another day.
Yeah. I'm totally down. Did I send you guys an email? I sent an email to a whole bunch of like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't know that I
don't remember if I sent it to you. We'll talk about it later. I'm looking for sponsors. Trying to make this thing last.
Well, I mean, you've put some work into it, so.
Yeah. A lot of work. Actually, you know what? I mean, I paid for the majority of this. The sound treatment was actually free.
Oh,
yeah. It's just moving blankets.
Well, I mean, the panel stuff though cost you something.
I got it off I asked for it for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. It cost somebody something.
Yeah, it cost somebody something, but not me. Nah, but I bought everything else. This I'm actually trading for some photo work. The table, but that's the only thing different from what I was doing before. Before I was at the kitchen table, and it sounded like garbage,
right?
Because it's really echoey out there. Everything is hard. So now we've got carpet floor, carpet wall, basically. But yeah, the table, kind of trading stuff for, but everything else is kind of the same.
So your wife gets mad at you, you're snoring too much, she just sends you in here, and she don't have to worry about hearing.
No, she usually just tells me to roll over. That usually solves it. We both snore, so it's not that bad.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's fine. Apparently she's a much quieter snorer. It's so weird because she'll wake me up. I don't know if you have this issue, but she'll wake me up and tell me that I was snoring, and I'm like, I was just like I was here, like I was right here, like right then. I didn't hear me. What are you talking about? Like it was like she'd wake me up and I was just snoring like half a second ago, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. How do you not hear yourself when you snore? That's weird. I need to get a scientist.
I have a CPAP machine.
Oh,
because I have sleep apnea, so I've had CPAP for about 10 years probably.
I think I probably have sleep apnea
and it actually has really helped me, but it also has made me. Because with CPAP, you put water in it, so there's humidity in there, so you get used to breathing that humidity and having that, that humidity in the air you breathe. So
is that nice?
Oh yeah, I mean it improved my sleep and my life probably pretty drastically. But now like I'll on occasion, like if I have to work all day, I'll go out, especially on a Friday or Fridays. I usually work from about 8:30, 9 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. So, and I mean, and the last 4 or 5 hours of cooking, and I tore my ACL and had it replaced back in August.
Replaced?
Yeah,
that's a thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a cadaver ACL on me.
What?
Oh yeah, they drilled down through my kneecap. They put the ACL out of a cadaver in it, and
I'm interested in the dead person ACL. Right?
Right.
Well, that's what that is?
I would kind of be interested in, did I get like...
That's crazy.
A 19-year-old? I need somebody that's a little bit bigger bone to hold me up, you know?
Yeah. You'd want my ACL. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. My knees.
I mean, I had my meniscus done and all that stuff, so it was... so now I'm I'm only 6 months out of surgery, and it's a 9-month to 12-month recovery.
Wow.
So like, yeah, you hear guys in the NFL they tear their ACL. It's at minimum 9 months.
I didn't know that this was that recent.
Oh yeah, I tore it running behind my son down Jockey's Ridge in the Outer Banks. We were running down. He fell. Being the good dad and the milliseconds that I had, it was either run him over and hurt him or jump over him. I jumped over him and I heard it pop. My brother was beside me. He heard it pop. And it just tore it. And in retrospect, I'm glad I did it to save my son, but he's 9. Kids are resilient. I could have run him. Okay. I could have run him over. He'd have been all right.
Yeah, he'd have been fine.
And then, here I am. I'm still doing cryotherapy down at Cryo 252. Hey, maybe you can get a free cryotherapy session out of those guys we just mentioned.
Maybe, hey.
But I could do compression.
I need to get up with them.
I could do compression therapy and cryotherapy. I was doing it about 6 days a week. Now I'm doing 3 or 4 days a week.
How's cryo? Okay, look, I know we just mentioned them. I know we just gave them a little shout out, but how is cryotherapy? What do you feel when you come out of there? I imagine it feels good because if you hop in a cold shower, it feels great when you cut the water off. But
my surgeon said that my recovery, and because typically somebody my age, your meniscus, they just cut out. Mm-hmm. But I guess the way mine was hanging out from under the kneecap, and also the fact that I'm on my feet a lot cooking, they sewed it back together, which is atypical. They put three stitches in it to hold it back together so that it would heal back. That would usually put you another month behind. I ended up a week after I had surgery on my ACL and had it replaced. I ended up in the hospital for a week for a double infection that was not related, but it put I wasn't able to start physical therapy until about 4 or 5 weeks after I'd had my surgery, whereas typically you would start it the week after.
Were you really stiff?
Yeah, it was, and it's still. I mean, it pops a lot and things like that. But now, it's one of those things where if I'm on it too long, I mean, it constantly kind of looks swollen, but it looks a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll go out and take a nap in the car for an hour, and I won't have my CPAP because I literally can fall asleep. I go out, get in my truck, I can fall asleep in 3 minutes.
Lucky you.
It's a skill I've learned, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not good at
Or
that.
either I'm just really tired. I don't know which one. But when I sleep, I'll take that nap without it, and I'll wake up, and my throat will hurt from not having the humidity from that CPAP.
Wow. It's just super dried out.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you didn't tell me how you felt about cryotherapy.
Oh, cryotherapy.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know if you were avoiding the
No. And that's the surgeon was like, "Oh, it's really helped you." And I enjoy both the cryotherapy part of it, but I also added on the compression package, which they put basically a big sleeve on both my legs, and it forces air, so it kind of squeezes the blood, or it's supposed to squeeze the toxins up out of your leg.
How tight is it? Is it that tight?
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty. When I come out of there, you can see the wrinkles on me. Especially if I was wearing pants where the pants were pressed against the door, though.
What do they do? They put something on you and suck the air out?
No, they put 2 big sleeves over your leg. It goes up to about mid thigh.
Right.
And it fills with air, and it starts at the bottom. And it basically just squeezes it up. So
I got you.
It's almost like a
big blood pressure cuff.
Yeah. But it's over your whole leg, so it pushes all that stuff up. And so I usually do that, and then I'll do that for 30 minutes if I fall asleep. So, because like I said, I can fall asleep anywhere. There's 3 chairs in there. I'll fall asleep. There can be other people in there. And I start snoring, and it really bothers me because I'm very aware of my snoring. It'll wake me up.
Yeah.
But I do that, and then I do the cryo, which is 3 minutes. Usually I go in, they take a skin temp with the laser thermometer, and I usually go in about 87, 88 degrees. I come out about somewhere between 16 and 18 degrees. So they'll take you down to about, the lowest I've been is about negative 220. 3 minutes, but
negative 220?
Oh yeah.
Is that safe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you remember who was it? Antonio Brown a couple years ago when he didn't wear the right socks when he went to do it over in Europe, wherever, and then he had frostbite on his feet before he went to the Raiders or whatever.
So what do you have to wear when you go in there?
You wear your boxers. So you go into a room and you take all your clothes off. You leave your boxers on.
Right.
Socks. I usually wear real short socks. So I'll put another pair of their longer thermal socks, because the big thing you got to worry about is apparently women can go in without any clothes on, but we have something sticking out that would frostbite if you didn't leave your boxers on.
Little extremities that need blood.
You might say little, but
little Little compared to a leg. I mean, okay, whatever.
Some of us have a
You
third
might
leg.
say little.
But you wear some warmer socks and like bedroom slippers, warm bedroom slippers and your boxers, and you walk in there with a robe. You get in there, they take the robe off. You take your robe off, you hand it everything. They put some gloves on you. They drop you down to -200.
Right. Wow.
You're in there 3 minutes, and when you first start doing it, like it's one of those it's like anything else new you're doing. It was very intimidating when I first started doing it, and I would constantly spin because they tell you to spin. You spin in there so you're not getting it all. But now I'll go in there and I'll make one spin revolution over the 3 minutes, or I might just sit there and start talking, and 3 minutes is up.
Yeah. Wow.
But I mean, it does a lot of things for you. Basically the cold takes all your blood goes to your internal organs, protect them.
Right.
And so it provides a lot of relief for inflammation. And Mike, you can get Mike on here, but like inflammation, like that, and then it's supposed to be very good for like migraines. And
I never thought about that.
you need to get Mike on here. He could tell you a lot about it.
He the guy who owns it?
Yeah, Mike Hickman.
Mike who?
Hickman.
Mike Hickman. Come on. No, that's really interesting. I've always been interested in it. I just never
It's
never done any research on it.
I mean, and I hadn't done it, but I asked people, and they said, "Oh yeah, it'd be great." And I went down, and without doing the research, I felt the effects of it helping me come back a lot quicker than people said I should have from my leg injury. So
I need to give it a shot. I've heard good things.
It's supposed to, I mean, it's I'm a large guy. It's supposed to actually help you lose weight and things like.
Really?
I mean, there's all sorts of, I can't say that I've experienced that, but I also like to eat. I'm in the restaurant business. I like to eat. So
Yeah, that was one thing. That was one thing, dude. When I worked at the Seahorse,
that's a lot of fried seafood right there.
oh my god, it wasn't even like the fried seafood. It was just like
Oh, they got some good cakes and stuff over there too.
they have that, and they have honestly their hush puppies are really good. Like they make those, like, or at least they did when I was there. I mean, it's literally they just
got one of those cones and they're dropping them in there.
no, they did it with a spoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just a spoon, man. Like they were going in there, they had a big old like pan full of the mix, and they would just
Drop it. Yep.
yeah, and then they'd scoop it up, put it in the basket or whatever. But if I'm walking by the fry station like with a something in my hand, I'm just hush puppy.
That was pre-COVID. Don't get them in trouble.
Yeah,
Don't get them in trouble.
That was in like 27. I was 19.
Oh, okay.
I was 18 or 19 at the time. So that was 2012.
Germs didn't exist back then like they do now.
No, not even close. No, but yeah, that was like I gained a lot of weight working there just on hush puppies alone.
Which is funny. I got a host now, and I shared this meme I saw with her, but it was like the restaurant diet. It's like going to work, work an 8-hour shift, don't eat, don't drink anything, and don't pee for 8 hours. You'll lose weight. She went to the doctor. The doctor's like, "What have you been doing? Have you started working out more?" And she's like, "No." She's like, the doctor was like, "You lost 12 pounds." She's like, "It's from being in the restaurant." She's like walking 16,000 steps a day that she never walked before.
Yeah. Yeah, I was never part of like the front of house. I was the gopher, like in that restaurant. I was a salad boy guy, or a salad bar guy.
How you maintain the salad bar?
Yeah, that was my main thing. But then like, I was also whatever else.
So, what are your thoughts about salad bars after COVID started? Would you eat at a salad bar right now?
I would no. Well, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't eat salad.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, I gotta be honest with you. Like for me personally, yeah, I'm fine. Like I'm around people a lot. I have to be. This isn't all I do. Like
Right.
I do this. I do photography. I have a full-time job. Like outside of all of this,
Right.
I still work for the city of Greenville, like in public works. I do that. I work for the street department. So I'm around people.
How you know my buddy Willie Mack?
Do I?
McLawhorn. Or wait, maybe he doesn't work for GC, he works for the city. He's a motorcycle riding coach. Anyway, I got my motorcycle.
Maybe.
And I saw you had that. Did you sell your motorcycle?
Yeah.
That was a sweet ride. What was it, Kawasaki, I think?
Yeah, Kawasaki Voyager.
Yeah, it looked nice.
It was nice. I kind of wish I hadn't sold it now, but I bought a camera with it, so
There you go.
I needed an upgrade with the camera.
You upgrade all this, and you'll have a couple motorcycles.
Yeah, that's
Put it on the
that's the goal. I really want my buddy.
As long as the wife's on board.
She's totally on board.
Okay.
She wants another one right now, but like she keeps saying it. Like we passed, like a bunch of guys like passed us on bikes, and I like looked at her, and she was like, like, you know, like kind of like pouting, jokingly, like she knew I was looking at her. And I was like, look, I'll go buy one right now. Like I'll do it. And she's like,
the problem is what it costs and what you get
don't.
from. Like yours was you had the hard bags in the back. It was silver, right?
It was red.
Red.
Yeah,
but it had the hard bags on the back.
Right. Yeah.
And you had a nice
windshield and fairing and all that.
Nice fairing. See, that's what I have a Yamaha V-Star 1300 toy.
Right.
And I got the hard leather bags. And I got a windshield, but I don't have the fairing. So I was almost going to approach you, be like, hey, let's swap out. But it's like, you know, I got a motorcycle that I bought for $5,500. Mm-hmm. I got some ape hangers on it. You would never know they're ape hangers.
I totally would have traded.
At my age, I needed them for my shoulder. It was like I couldn't drive more than 60 miles with the original handlebars.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I haven't been able to ride for 6 or 7 months. But at the same time, I'm like, it's paid for. Somebody's only going to give me $3,000 for something that Ron Ayers or whoever puts it on the floor is going to sell for $5,500. I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep it.
I lucked out. I sold that for $5,000.
Oh, you did pretty good then.
Yeah. It's for it to be a Japanese bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy just got a Harley Softail. Softail. It's like not the bottom line one, but it's like a midnight packet or something. I don't know.
It's probably only like a 700 or something like that.
No. It's a Softail 103 or 107. It's the big motor. It's the big one that's in all of them because I rode it. And my buddy, who was on the first episode of this podcast, he's got the exact same bike, only his is a Softail Deluxe. So it's got it's a little beefier. It's got the crash bar. It's got the ape hangers on it. It's got the floorboard. Like everything is just a little bigger, you know. Same exact motor though, and probably 400 less pounds on it on my buddy's bike. And I rode it, and that thing felt like it was trying to like shoot out from underneath my ass, and it was scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was like I don't need this. Right. I'm gonna die. Like I'm gonna kill myself.
Well, one, a crotch rocket wouldn't be comfortable for me, but like my bike, I've had it up to about 110 once. Mm-hmm. I mean, those bikes are heavy bikes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, never need to do that again.
No.
I'm good.
No. I did that.
All it takes is a pebble.
Yeah. I do that to see how it is at those speeds. Like when I'm first buying them, like I'll get it and then it's like, all right, well, let's just, you know, I don't know if I ever have to go that fast, but let's just see what it'll do. And I'll take it up to 100 and see how it feels. And I mean, usually.
And you know if it's got more.
Yeah.
Like mine has more after that, without a doubt. But I'm like, not for me, it doesn't.
How many gears does that one have?
5.
Yeah, mine was a 6-speed.
Okay.
With that's gear number 6. I was watching a bunch of reviews before I actually bought the bike. And 6 gear in that bike, I kept hearing was completely useless off the highway. And then I got the bike, and I was like, they're probably exaggerating. And I shifted into 6 gear in town, going 50 miles an hour, thinking it was just going to lug along. I mean, it did, but like it felt like
1,000 RPMs, probably.
Dude, it felt like it dropped down like 500. Oh. Like it felt like that thing was about to cut off. Like I was about to like stall it. Like it just wasn't. The gear is so tall. So like if you're not going 70, if you're going 70 down the highway in 5th, RPMs are like 25, 3,000 ish.
You don't even need to go up except for the fuel.
Shifting to the 6, it drops it down to 1,500, and you're just going 70, 80 miles an hour down the highway. That bike was really nice for cruising like that, but I needed the camera more. But now I want a Harley. I really want a Harley.
What are they called now? They're not Boneyard. We just need to keep shouting out people until somebody tosses you some gift cards or money.
I think it's Boneyard. Isn't it Boneyard?
Is it Boneyard? I thought they might have just changed names. No, it was Hometown.
It's Hometown. That's right.
Hometown Harley Davidson.
That's right. It was Boneyard. Now it's Hometown. Yeah. Wait, no. No, it was Hometown. Now it's Boneyard.
Okay.
I think. Right? I'll have to double check that.
Somebody tag us. Let us know.
Yeah. Do that. Do all those things. This is going to go on Facebook. I want to put this one on Facebook. Now it's a video.
There you go.
So I'm going to put it on Facebook.
I shaved yesterday.
For this video?
Yeah.
Yeah? I appreciate that. I did not. I've got a little neck beard going on, a little cheek.
Well, now that I don't have the beard and I just have the goatee, it's kind of like you got to keep this clean.
Yeah. I had that when I first started growing this one back out. I just had the long goatee, and then I let the rest of it fill in. I'm thinking about doing I'm going to get tired of this eventually because I always do, but I'm thinking about cutting all of this down and just doing like that weird like beard thing that's just down here.
The line. You
know what I mean?
I got some good barbers I can
Who you go to?
introduce. Well, I was my buddy Mook the barber.
Right. Yeah. He cut my hair for a while. He cut my hair.
I think he was down at Fifth Street now. I think I was going all the way to Grifton. He was working with the guy in Grifton, but that guy.
Oh, is he not at the hair bar anymore?
Nah, that guy kind of flaked on. So now I think he's still looking to open another spot.
Huh.
I've been to Man Cave once. They did a pretty good job.
I go to
most recently. I went to shave on Fifth. That was actually the first time I've been there, and they've been there forever. But that was a nice experience.
Yeah, they're cool. I went to them when they first opened. We'll get back to Basils because we've been doing a whole lot of talking about not Basils. Not that you're here just to promote Basils, but
hopefully at this point it can speak for itself.
I'm sure it can. You don't need me. Yeah, at all. Look at that face. Yeah. I've got dude, what? I'm like losing my train of thought is like all over the place right now. Hang on. Let's get it together. Did you ever like want to actually get into the restaurant business?
When I was, in college, I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I kind of wanted to be in international business, which is, go to business school, get into international business.
What'd you want to do with that? Did you have an idea, or you just thought it sounded cool at the time?
Yes, I was in school, and I went to Germany as an exchange student. When I was a junior in high school. I got a scholarship that was started back around the end of World War II. It was Congress Bundestag scholarship, which Bundestag is the Congress of Germany, basically. And they started a scholarship, and originally it was just bringing German students over to America so that Americans would realize, hey, it wasn't the actual German people that started this issue. It was politicians. It was,
smells like German propaganda.
Yeah, basically. So, and that's how I started, but it was a program they kept going on. So I received a scholarship, and they paid for my way to go to Germany as an exchange student. So I was always kind of interested in that. So when I got to college, it was international relations, political economy. Decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. I started taking a lot of political economy courses. I was like, I want to get into international business because that's also right around the time that the wall fell in Berlin. And when I went to Germany, it was 91, 92. It had fallen in like 89, 90, I think is when the wall fell. But even when I was still there were still parts of it. It was like if you traveled from here to Fire Tower Road, and you notice considerable difference. That's the way it was when I was there. Mm-hmm. So while I was in college, I went ahead and took the GMATs. I always wanted to go either to Wharton or Thunderbird, which is in Arizona, I believe. But they were always in the top 3 of international business schools. I actually got accepted into the Peace Corps. Was going to go to the Peace Corps to the former Soviet Republic somewhere.
What's the Peace Corps about? A peace, obviously.
Yeah, well, you would go over and you would be doing things I would have been involved in doing like economic business stuff of like promoting business growth. And at that time, to me, it was intriguing is if you think about the former Soviet Republic around that time, who ended up taking power of everything? Like the politicians, the gangsters, and the mobsters. So
yes,
it would have been interesting. But I ended up my fiance at the time. I never got married to her, but my fiance at the time didn't want me to go, so I ended up at the beach making pizza for and then here I am.
Yeah,
I like to say I'm pouring pizza and making beer for a living.
Yeah,
I even get that backwards.
Pouring pizza and making beer for a living.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I couldn't tell. No, that's funny. Yeah, I've wanted to. I've said this on previous podcasts. Like I like to cook, and I like to think that I'm pretty. In my friend group, I cook better than anybody else. I know that. I know that for a fact. Except for this one time, I made some eggs at the beach, and I don't let them live this down because they all lied to me, and I knew they were lying. Did you ever see that video of Gordon Ramsay making eggs, like in that they're like that custardy kind of like, they're not runny, they're just like really small curds.
Nah,
he puts like so what it is, it's like you put eggs in a pan, right? You're cooking them, you're scrambling them like you normally do, but you're basically just like with a spatula, you're just going the whole time. You're just moving them around,
kind of whipping them or something.
right? You throw some butter in there. And by some butter, I mean an uncomfortable amount of butter. Like, it's weird, like how much butter you're putting in there. You keep it going. You're moving it. You're taking it off the heat. You're putting it on the heat, so you're not overcooking the eggs.
Right.
When they get to a certain point, he put creme fraiche in his. I would do about half, like 1 part sour cream, 1 part whole whipping cream, or heavy whipping cream, and that would, 1, stop the cooking, 2, make them really creamy. They're really good over like a nice piece of toast, which is what he does in the video, and he does it for a reason. It's really good. They're not the kind of things you can like stab.
Right.
You know? So we were at the beach, and I was like, I'm going to make these eggs for you guys, because I'd been doing it for like me and Crystal, and they're good. I just never done them in a non-stick stainless steel pan. And I scorched the hell out of them because I'm stupid. And
It's got nothing to do with you. It's the proper equipment.
Well, I think it could have been done in a stainless steel like pan if I had just known what I was doing. But I didn't at the time. Now that's all I cook in is stainless steel, cast iron. I'll use a non-stick, like if I don't feel like cleaning it, you know,
just wipe it with a paper towel.
Basically, you know what I mean? Like It's not as hard to clean that. But like if I'm doing burgers or something, it's in the cast iron or it's in one of my stainless steel pans, because I'm not a griller. I do it on the stove. But they're really good friends, and they all lied to me and told me that, no, they're good. And I was sitting there the whole time going, they're not good. Like, you can stop saying it. But other than that one time.
You're the king of the friends.
I cook, yeah. I think I'm a decent cook. Crystal does not cook. I cook. If we're cooking here, I'm the one doing it.
Does she clean, or you have to cook and clean?
She cleans more than I do.
Okay.
For sure. I was about to say we split it, but she would have like felt that from the room, and would have come in here in the middle of the podcast and
we're
said
on
that
video now. That could make it interesting.
Yeah, it would. Well, she would. No, but yeah, she cleans more than I do. But I do the cooking for the most part. She does cook sometimes, but it's usually just like, you know, it's like a box mac and cheese or something.
Right.
You know, if there's like some serious cooking happening, like you have to make everything from scratch, it's me. That was the deal from the get-go, by the way. I'm not like throwing shots or anything, anybody. Like, that's like our thing. It's like, I cook, and we both knew that. But I've given thought to opening up a restaurant for like a half a second. And then Crystal was like, that's a really bad idea. Don't do that. Like, because I get annoyingly frustrated in a kitchen with other people.
Right.
Like if I'm the only one in there, who was I? I think I was talking to it was Lauren and Charlie Lamantia.
Yeah.
Had them on, and
they're good people. I like both of them.
Yeah, they're funny. They're fun. I had them on. They were really good to talk to.
They had a huge adjustment coming down here to the south.
I think
imagine. They've gotten used to it now, but
yeah, but Lauren was talking about how Charlie would be in the kitchen and like, you know, he's just like yelling for no reason. You know, he was like, I'm yelling because stuff's not going right or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of the same way. But, like, I'm annoying because
I yell, but I'm yelling at people. Whereas you're cooking alone and Charlie's cooking alone, so he's just yelling at himself.
I don't yell at anybody because most of the time the person who it is Crystal, and, like, I can't do that this early in our marriage. But she, like, I'll be, like, upset that, like, nobody's in there helping me. And then somebody will come in to, like, help me. And I'm like, you're in my way. Get out of my way. Just get out. Go. Like, stop it. But yeah, so like the whole restaurant thing's probably a bad idea. But I have given genuine thought to like a burger stand, something super simple. And when I say super simple, I mean literally all we do is cheeseburgers. You don't want cheese? Don't come here. You want ketchup and pickles and all that crap on there? It's on the table over there. Like, it's in these little coolers over here. I'm not doing that. I'm making your burger. I'm giving you your burger open face, and that's it. That's all there is to it. You can go do all that stuff over there. Give me my... I want to do it that simple and like that, like...
But the customer's always right.
The customer can go somewhere else. They are correct. They're correct in saying they don't want cheese. They're in the wrong place. I literally... The name of the place will literally just... The name of the stand will literally just be, we only serve cheeseburgers. And that's it. Just super simple cheeseburger. Now, I will say you can get a single, you can get a double. You get a triple if you pay me an extra $5. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Right.
But I want it to be like, if I ever did it, I want it to be like super cheap, you know, like give people incentive to come here. Not cheap as in like the ingredients are cheap, but like cheap as in like, I want it to be, I don't even know if it's possible these days.
You're already running yourself out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Why is that?
You'd be better off getting a boat.
What do you mean?
Boats cost, you know how people talk about like if boats cost so much money. Like if you have money to open a restaurant, you probably don't want to open one because you're just going to lose it all.
What about like a little burger stand? I mean, I'm literally just like a cart. You know, you see those dudes selling hot dogs outside of like Lowe's sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so much that goes into that. I had a friend who wanted to do a hot dog cart, so you have to find a commissary. So you have to find somebody who will let you work out of their business, and they're going to want to charge you some money. Right. You have to store, you know, even with like a hot dog stand, you have to have your stuff stored somewhere else. It's your commissary where your hot dog cart or whatever is stored at. Like there's so much red tape that, you know, I remember it's probably been 15, 16, 17 years ago, but, you know, we drive down, it's now Fifth Street, but what used to be MLK when you got on the west side of Fifth Street, and there was it looked like an ambulance, and they would have a fish fry out of this back of this ambulance. You can't do stuff like that anymore. Everything has to be regulated, licensed, you know. All
I mean,
stuff.
you can do it.
You can do it, but it's how long you're going to get away with it for the investment you have to make in doing what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't give much thought to the to the logistics of it. I was just like, how about a burger cart that's literally just a flat top?
Right.
You know, like that's where the cooking happens. It happens right there. You order, I cook it. Maybe it'd be like a tent. You know, it's a stand. You know, like when you go to the fair.
You know what you need to do, and this is going to be another promo, but this is for Joy Soup Kitchen. Go down there and tell them you want to cook lunch one day.
Yeah, I had him up here.
Oh, you had Thomas on here?
Yep. I was gonna say Tom, but I was like, that doesn't sound right.
I think I can't remember if he prefers Tom or Tom. I always call him Thomas. I think he prefers Thomas, but I just recently got on the board for the Soup Kitchen like 2 months ago.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I think it's about when I had him on. Yeah.
He's another interesting character.
Yeah, his episode's really good. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. Yeah, he seems like a really cool dude. Very, very like I cried on that episode. Like he's got one of those like personalities, like one of those. He just seems like all he wants to do is help. Yeah, you know, there's like nothing else behind it, and I love that. You know, I mean, you can say all you want that's rare. That's really rare in people. You know,
I mean, he does everything he does down there. He doesn't get paid for it.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like me and you, like we're in a business to make money. You know, we like helping people, but at the same time, like a lot of it comes back to like, yeah, I mean,
we got to have income to do.
Yeah, there's going to be some income about this. You know, even if it's like I did this for free, but it's like it's all over Facebook. Like, yeah, you did it for free, but now your name's all over Facebook because you did something for free.
And you're generating,
and you're
working up to something
exactly. Bigger. Yeah, and I feel like I say stuff like that, and people think I'm an asshole, but I'm like, that's literally business. That's how this works. Like, you know, if you don't see that, then well, that's probably why you don't have a business. To be honest. Anyway,
I mean, that's like you did the picture for the independent restaurant pizza or independent restaurant guys, and then I ended up buying the big ass picture.
Yeah, that was one of those.
And hopefully you sold some more of them. You know, I mean,
I sold a couple more.
Yeah, went. I mean, and if people come in and ask me about it, and I'm like, it's cards right there. I'll be glad to give you the information. So hopefully you got. So I love that picture. It's like our new centerpiece.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I do get text messages about it every once in a while. Just people who like know me who will text me about it. That's super cool. But yeah, that's a great example. Like that was because that happened. We did that after I came in and shot for you guys in the kitchen and whatnot. And that was one of those situations where it was like, yeah, that's kind of what I was not what I was hoping for, but you know, that's kind of like I knew that was a possibility.
You were getting your name out there, and then
exactly
when I thought of, hey, I need a photograph taken, or I need this, I'm like, who's the last person that helped me out? That's what they do.
Exactly.
This guy.
Yeah. And you know, so stuff like that. No, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but like maybe 7 times out of 10. It's not completely selfless. It is selfless because I knew like, I don't know, 80% of the restaurants who contacted me to do stuff
that's like
weren't going to contact me again.
Right. And then, but it's kind of like you said, like, you know.
It feels dirty, like talking about this.
No, I mean,
I don't know why, but
you go out and you do what you can do to help people, and if you get recognized for it, and therefore, I mean, it's like a faith thing. It's like, you know, the more you give, the more you shall receive. That's a whole.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, because that's what it was. I didn't know that I was going to get anything out of it, but I knew that I wasn't doing anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. I got all this free time.
Well, I mean,
and it comes these people are hurting, so I might as well.
It comes down to helping your fellow man.
Yeah.
You know that so many people went out and supported the restaurants, and then, you know, the restaurants traditionally, especially the independently owned, they're the ones sponsoring the baseball teams. They're the ones doing this. They're the ones doing that. And at a time where they were really hurting, and they're still giving, but they're not able to give like they used to be. But I mean, it's a big circle. You know, even when you're going out to help others, just because it makes you feel good, that can almost be considered a selfish act.
Yeah. Trying to explain that to people who do a lot of that kind of stuff, it's kind of difficult.
Right.
Because they're like, no, not at all. It's not. I mean, but it is. It's like 10% selfish.
Yeah. I mean, there's self-promotion in everything you do, even if it's just you expect the good karma back.
Yeah. 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 And when you address that side of things like that, like I was saying, it's true. It is 100% true, but it feels a little dirty. And I think it's because I feel like I can feel you judging me. You know, I like having this camera here. I can just stare at people now.
Are you judging yourself, or are you looking at them because they're judging you?
Maybe a little both. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I knew doing that was going to come back to me at some point. I didn't know how, but, you know, I kind of hoped it did. And you guys doing what you did was actually the most direct way that it did.
I got an awesome picture. I mean, you know, I mean,
I got a really big job off of that, though.
Oh, that's good.
With National Geographic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My name is credited in a National Geographic TV show because of all that work that I did.
Does National Geographic still put out the magazine?
Maybe. I don't know. I just know that I did set photography.
Oh, wow.
Based on the photos that I did for Luna, you, and a whole bunch of other businesses that I did it for. Jimmy John's was one of them. But they saw those, and it was very documentary kind of style. And I got contacted to work for them as a contractor. That was super cool.
I mean, and so, I mean, it's kind of like you said, I mean, it's hard. I mean, like, you weren't expecting anything out of it. Now, in the back of your head, you're like, maybe it'll work out. But, I mean, that's not the reason you did it. So it's almost like you're feeling guilty for something you didn't even intentionally do.
I think
you're feeling guilty for doing something good.
Yeah, I feel guilty because, like, I'm recognizing the truth in it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pointing it out,
right? And
I can feel people like, you son of a bitch. Like, you knew what you were doing. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, kind of, but, like, I was just kind of helping, you know, but, like, I knew it could do something. I didn't know, though, you know. I don't know. I have a hard time with stuff like that, man. I judge myself a lot. I don't cut myself a lot of breaks.
Well, and I think, you know, we should be our biggest critics.
Yeah.
Because if you're your biggest critic, then you won't be as affected by other people criticizing you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're pointing, you know, it's
in a negative way. There's constructive criticism that you should be affected by.
Oh yeah, yeah. Without a doubt. And that's like kind of like we were talking earlier. It's like, you know, you get people are sometimes people have a point of view that they because you've been closed in your box and your way of doing things, you don't see that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's criticisms. I mean, it's all about how you respond to criticism. You know, and whether the criticism is valid, because that comes down to the customer always right thing. You know, like, some criticism isn't valid.
Yeah. That's a deep one.
But at the end of the day, you're the only person that has to be able to go to sleep at night.
Yeah. I don't have any trouble sleeping, so I feel good. I mean, my back hurts a little bit sometimes, but
I sleep on a heating pad every night, pretty much.
Really? What's your sleeping situation? You seem like you got hooked up.
Pad.
I don't know what my deal is, man. I think I've just gotten too big. We just
start walking together or something.
We could. I'm totally down. We just got meals from Clean Eats.
Okay.
Yeah, I figure like we try to cook, but I'm like a week's worth of groceries for us somehow ends up still being like $60 or like $70 or $80 or whatever. It's just the two of us. So
and cooking for two is like you end up with leftovers and you throw them away.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm like, we also end up eating out like 2 or 3 times a week anyway. And so we both want to like lean out a little bit, because I'm uncomfortable, to be honest with you. Like I'm a big dude to begin with. I was down to 225 at one point, which for me is really small.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's really skinny at 225. If I was 225 right now, I would be shredded because I went through like a powerlifting phase.
Okay.
Where I actually gained a lot of mass. Like I all this up here where I look a lot like broader and like bigger. That wasn't there like 5 years ago.
Right.
When I was super lean. So I was just like skinny. But I want to get back down to like 250. 250 is a nice, comfortable weight for me. I look normal, I look like a normal, like square rectangle average person,
You're taller than me. I need to lift more weight than that.
Yeah. Like 250 is a good weight for me. Right now I weigh like 305-ish. So, yeah. I'd like to get that done by like August, if I can. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, it's possible.
55 pounds between now and August?
Yeah.
What are you going to eat?
You can totally do that.
Clean Eats. You need to try out Clean Eats. Try out Pops has got his safe meals or his healthy meals.
Is that Scott too?
No, Scott is Clean
Scott's
Eats.
Clean Eats.
Pops is Finelli.
Okay.
Dave Finelli.
Yeah, I know. I thought Scott was involved with something.
Scott's Poppy's Smokehouse.
That's what it is. Okay. Yeah. No, we got Clean Eats. I figured I did the math and I was like, okay, so we definitely spend.
You really want to lose some weight quick. Do the juice cleanse. I did that. I did a 7-day. Never really even drank the juice.
Yeah.
Did the juice cleanse, 3 juices a day and a little salad. Buy some toilet paper. Make sure we're not going to be in a toilet paper shortage when you're doing that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really big. So like 50 pounds for me. I mean, I'm not like big, but like 50 pounds in.
You're still talking about 16, 17% of your body weight.
Yeah. I could do it by December and do it and keep it off.
Right.
But like losing it really, really fast. I've never had experience with that like it stayed off.
Right.
Ever. But I can do it. Like I could by December, I could have abs if I really wanted to.
I don't have. They're just
right. They're covered up,
insulated.
Yeah, they're covered up by. For me, they're covered up by a liquid grain storage facility.
There you go.
That's what it is. But
I like that one.
Yeah, I stole that. I got that from some redneck friends from Pactolus. Yeah. I don't have a 6-pack. I have a liquid grain storage facility. That's what that is. Anyway, we're like way off the rails. We're an hour and a half in. I think we can wrap it up.
Sounds good to me.
How you feel?
That sounds good to me.
You good? Okay. So, Jeremy, where can people follow you or follow the restaurant or whatever?
www.itsbasils.com. Facebook is Basil's Restaurant. We have some Twitter and stuff like that, but I don't know how to do it or what it is. Find us through one of those other ones and
Instagram.
You
on Instagram? Do you know?
I'm too old for Instagram.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay.
I mean, what are we going to create a TikTok video after this or what?
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know anything about TikTok.
We are going to take a Polaroid.
There you go.
I'll tell you that.
I know how Polaroids work.
Yeah, we're gonna use the. Where's my?
You gotta shake it like a Polaroid picture, right?
I did that to one, and it ruined it.
That's
it's the Outcast.
Big Boy and yeah, Andre 2000 or whatever.
Yeah, 3000.
3000. One of those numbers.
Andre 1500. All right, guys, follow Jeremy. You should add him as a friend on Facebook. Jeremy Spengeman. Follow Basils on Facebook and anywhere else you can find it. If it's anywhere else, who knows? Jeremy doesn't. Follow Small Stuff Podcast on Instagram. Go to smallstuffmerch.com. Grab you something to rep the podcast. Leave a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you can review and rate podcasts. It helps a lot. I'd really appreciate it. Share the podcast with your friends. I think that's it. I'm never going to get good at this outro. See you later.